Season 2 of the Pat and JT podcast.
Oh man, I'm here at last. The best time, always gonna be the best. Come on!
Exclusively on the Hurrdat Media Network.
I think of all the guests we have, I think we're pretty good at finding people that are, that when they walk in a room, they make you feel better.
Yeah.
You have Andy Myers, you have Rihanna, you have Heidi to an extent. But Dana Camp also is one of those. And maybe it's your pop of color bows all the time, that your statement bows.
Flower in her hair.
Yeah, it looks awesome, but it's good to see you.
Yeah,
Always.
It's good to see you guys too.
I can't believe it's been a year.
Yeah. Last time we talked was about 2020 and what was going
insane.
on.
It was because it wasn't going on yet, was it?
Oh, it was.
Was it just starting?
We almost went to war on the 3rd of the month. I came right
the same time. Oh my!
And I was like, this is not weird. This is exactly what would happen in a year of 4.
2020 was like the epitome of days creep by, but the years fly. Like the days seem like they went on forever just because we were all in quarantine, whatever.
I know.
But then the fact that it's been a year, it was like a snap. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, you were in talking about the year of 4. We just had Rihanna in not that long ago, and she mentioned that we should have you come in to talk about the year of 5.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, I think, came into this year. They went into 2020 and it was like, hey, 2020 vision, it's going to be fun, 2020, and it's all this, yay, we're going to see so much, and we saw a lot.
We did see, I never thought about that, the whole thing. We're seeing a lot from 2020.
Yeah, now we got 2020 hindsight.
Right.
And everybody was thinking 2021 was going to be this huge reset.
Every year.
The
humanness in all of us, like everyone's like, oh, I'm so glad that year's over. I can't wait for the new year. It's going to be better. It's got to be better, right? It's just another year, guys. It's just another day. Like we're always looking, what keeps us in anxiety is looking farther ahead than the present moment.
Truth. That is it. And you're missing what's going on.
We dwell on the past. We're in our depression.
Yeah.
Neither place has power.
You're 100% right. That's so true.
And if you bring them together,
yeah,
in the hands to the heart-centeredness of being present.
Is that what that means?
That's what it means to me. Yeah.
That's what it means. That's all I need. I'm in.
Yeah. So where do we even start here? I mean, we wanted to talk about where things have been and where things are going. I liked one thing that you say about yourself is you are a lighthouse.
Yeah.
And your point is to help people see things a little bit differently and the why behind it.
Yeah. So what I do is I use numerology, but it's just a tool. I'm an intuitive, but I also I consider myself a perception coach. So I help people. I sit into their energy, look at their chart, what they're here to do, and I help them shift into the most joyful perspectives to move forward in their life, to bring more joy, to be more present.
Perception coach.
Yeah.
Everybody's spot
awesome.
isn't the same. It's not like you're trying everybody should sit in this seat because this is where you're going to see the best view.
Yeah.
That's not the best view for everybody.
Well, no, from their seat, right? Like I look at it from where they are, how they perceive things.
Wow.
And then I help them shift out of a fearful perspective into a joyful perspective. Like how can you look at this from a blessed perspective? Mm-hmm. Where's the gratitude? Mm-hmm. How do you look at it from that place? That's what I really... that's where I help people.
That's where it's at.
Change their life, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the last 18 months, we've needed that.
Yeah. A lot of people are looking at things from a fearful spot.
Yeah. Fear. And 2020.
Yes.
It showed us where all that was. It really highlighted it.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's true.
It did its job. So 2020, the energy of 4 is about security if you're in a loving place in your heart, and insecurity if you're in fear.
Yeah.
Right? So, and fear is so easy to identify. This is one of the things I teach people. 3 things can tell you where your heart is. The need to control outside of you, the need for approval from outside of you, and the need to pass judgment, including against yourself. So that little voice in your head that's mean. If you're acting from any of those places, you're coming from fear. And then you're conscious, and then you can make a conscious decision to change the narrative.
Isn't that crazy?
That is.
When you're trying to control that is out of your control is when you're going to be in just like the weakest spot.
Yeah, but it's also
scary.
A beautiful helper because it shows us whatever we're seeing on the outside is really what's a reflection of what's on the inside. So if we're chaotic, if we see chaos and pain and horror on the outside, what's unhealed inside of us? That's what the world is everything's energy, everything's frequency, everything is bouncing back.
Can it work the other way too? Like if you have that balance, or you're centered or whatever inside, but you constantly are seeing the negative images and all this stuff, it'll change what's going on inside you?
If you allow it, that's where you give your power away, right? Mm-hmm. Because then you're giving your power to something outside of you.
Because you have the power. If you're in that spot where everything is good inside, it shouldn't. You wouldn't want to give that away. It's like, you know what I mean? It's like to in exchange for, I don't know. This is all pretty
perception,
scary.
right?
Yeah,
it is.
After a while, though, you got to feel like people are making you feel like you're the crazy one. Like if you have that, you're centered and you feel that security. But every day, it's like you're wrong. It's like, okay, maybe I'm wrong, and you cave.
But when you love yourself, this is where the bottom line comes in. When you love yourself, you know you, and you know it doesn't matter what other people think. See, that fear, that's number 2, need for approval.
And that is, oh gosh, this is resonating. Because when you talk about people being able to have something that they believe in and stand for that belief, they are secure in what they believe in, and they're willing to take whatever comes at them. That's not going to shake them. And you will sometimes feel alienated. You will feel like you're on an island sometimes, but you know you're right. But that's what makes people want to seek out others in their so-called tribe.
Yeah.
Looking for like minds.
We want that it bounce back to us. We want to be validated, right?
Because we all like validation. We all like to be around people that all agree with us.
I mean, we through our years, there had been several times, just speaking professionally, where we would be like, we're not the crazy ones.
Right.
And so we'd go seek out the people that we knew that were coming from the right place, and ask them, okay, we're going to send you some things. You just tell us just tell us. And they're like, no, this is you. You're right.
Well, what if you get excited?
That's all I needed.
What if you get excited about somebody who has a different perspective than you? What if you get excited about hearing another person's perspective? If you're solid in yourself, you'll know what's yours and what's not yours, which is what I teach people.
Well, and like you had said before this, that you have friends that you guys see things completely differently, but it doesn't affect your friendship. I have family members. My grandma was the complete polar opposite of me, socially, politically, everything. And she's my grandma. Yeah. And we have family friends that are whatever, had that hat on last couple of years ago, and we love them still. It's like, it doesn't matter because you're secure in
Some families
who you are.
don't, though.
It's sick.
And that's hard to hear.
So the connection between that is when you accept yourself, you can accept others the way they are too, without judging them. That's the love. That's when your heart is in a loving space. You love yourself, you love others as they are, right? There's an acceptance there. So it doesn't matter what someone else thinks to me. I love everyone. I don't prefer everyone. I'm not going to lie. Like, I get to choose. My power is, and I get to choose who I spend time with. But that doesn't mean that I don't love everyone. Like, I don't care who they are. I love everyone on this planet. People go, okay, now you're lost me there. And I'm like, you know what? I know that everybody is just a reflection of me in some other form, and that whatever they're doing and showing me is just helping me expand who I am. And when I accept that other people have shadow and darkness, it's because I've accepted that I have shadow and darkness.
Interesting.
We're here to have an experience. When your soul, and you say, hey, I want to go to Earth and I want to have an experience, your soul doesn't say, okay, you're going to have these really good ones and these really
shitty ones. Go ahead, it's okay.
I was like,
you're fine.
Almost went over
the lighthouse
there.
can say whatever she wants.
Can say. So your soul doesn't say, hey, we're going to go to Earth and suffer, and we're going to have some good times, so we're going to suffer. Your soul doesn't say that. Your soul says, hey, we're going to go to Earth and have some experiences. When you are human, we are immediately inundated with programming. From the minute we're born, we're told who we are and who we're not, who we can be, who we can't be. We're told what to be afraid of, what to love.
That's true.
So like by 8 years old, psychologists say by 8 years old, your default setting about your beliefs about who you are in the world around you is set by 8. So whatever you're afraid of, if you've been told that you're stupid and you'll be nothing just like your dad for the from the time you're tiny till you're 8.
Yeah.
That is your default setting. So as an adult, every time some good opportunity comes up for you, your mind's going to go, no.
Yeah.
You're stupid and you can't do it.
Isn't that crazy?
That is crazy.
And then you think how blessed you are if you didn't have that in your life. You didn't have to deal with that negative energy. But it's funny because I'm sure everybody's had it in theirs. I remember one that I had in mine. And it was somebody that I totally looked up to. Yeah. And I was a little kid that told me I was not good at something. Yep. And that stuck with me to this day. I can see her face. I can say her name. I never saw her after I was 10 years old. And I never forget how she made me feel. Yep. I don't remember exactly what she said, but I remember how she made me feel. Right. And that stuck with me for probably another 5 to 10 years before I was able to move out of it. But I'm still pissed that she said that.
Right? So fired up. But okay, so that one thing happens to her. She remembers it and carries it her whole life. But
one time.
It seems like the negative stuff is stronger and get deeper faster. Then you could hear 100 positive things, and it's like you don't remember that. You remember the one negative thing that you carry. I mean, This Is Us last week. Sorry to take it to TV, but when what's her name? Lady with Toby. Chrissy Metz character. Anyway,
This Is Us.
This is that's why I said This Is Us. I said This Is Us, but I couldn't remember her name on the show.
That's it.
Claire. Okay. That's not Claire. Whatever.
Chrissy Metz. I haven't been watching this season.
I won't spoil this, but anyway, she's been carrying this situation she had, and
if you don't watch the show, she's overweight.
Right, and it had nothing to do with that.
Right, and her husband also was overweight. He lost a bunch of weight.
Right,
and there was some problems with that as well.
But this one, she had a boyfriend years and years and years ago, and they had a 6-month relationship. And in this last episode, she needed that release and that closure to give him back this power and energy that she's been carrying around for 25 years about one incident that happened. So and she's like, I'm done with you. Seeing on the streets, she was like, I handed it back to you, and I'm done. And she just walked away. So that one instance can form your entire life versus if you go to positive camp every year, it seems like those things take longer to build up. Why?
It's easier to break down.
It's also it's like a cycle too. So like that experience will show up throughout your whole life in different ways. It'll keep giving you an opportunity to transmute it, to grow through it, to expand yourself, to grow beyond it. But you have to recognize it first, right? We have to be honest with ourselves, which is super hard, and own our shit, right? We have to own it. Before you can heal it, you have to recognize and own it, and it's that's hard work. It's hard to look at yourself and go, but that's part of acceptance too, right? So like when I look at myself, there's this great person, her name's Carolyn Mace, but she spells it MYSS, and she's amazing, and she talks about archetypes, which is very close to the numerology, what I do, because labels are just archetypes, right? Like you meet somebody and you go, she's a bee. That's like...
In more ways than one.
Is that an archetype?
But what you're,
the people that are bees?
Oh, I know a lot of bees.
But you know what I mean? But like... You're,
texted a bee this morning. As a matter of fact.
Everyone you've texted this morning is like, is he talking about me? And they're probably like, no, wait. If they're honest, they're like, yeah, that's me. Right? I can be, right?
Right.
But we've got a lot. Crazy. Like we step into archetypes all the time. Like when I meet somebody and I go, oh, that's a bully, right? But that's okay because you say, oh, she's a sweetheart, or oh, he's so strong, or oh, what a knight in shining armor. Like these are all just archetypes that we're energy that we're recognizing in another person.
That's the truth. I mean, that's something you do subconsciously. Yeah. I mean, it's like you don't even realize you just did that, but you have people in different compartments.
You know why you do it?
Why?
Because everyone is trying to get their needs met.
Okay.
So everyone is constantly feeling out everything in a way of getting their needs met. How can I utilize this situation, this person?
Or how is this person dangerous to me?
Yes. So, yes. And so you can do that through two ways, right? We can do it through our fear, or we can do it through our discernment. And the only difference between judgment and discernment is where your heart is. Discernment comes from a place of self-love. Judgment comes from a place of fear and comparison.
Interesting. Interesting. These are all, especially right now in the way times are, to think of that, to go beyond the politics of why things are happening. And I know we've touched on this before, and it's like you just kind of put into words where I've been trying to find, because I'm like I want to find the why. I want to go beyond this.
You're 7.
It's like
Sevens want to know why everything.
I'm the investigator.
Ours a big shocker.
Very
I'm the
much
investigator. It always comes out. That's weird.
Yeah,
That's funny
yeah.
you say that. But it is. I'm always wanting to know how does that and you're gonna laugh this too because then I want to know if that affected this. Why is this over here like that? Where's the connection? There's got to be a connection.
That's my gift.
That's
connection.
your gift. Isn't
Connection and strategy.
Don't tell me she's a lighthouse too. Is she a lighthouse?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm more like maybe a flashlight.
I think you're one of those. I think you're one of those LED lights that if you have it turned the wrong way and it blasts you in the eye, you're messed up for like 15 minutes.
I'm really bright for about 3 seconds.
Yes, you burn hot, and then she gone.
I'm good with that. I'm good with that. What you just mentioned about connectivity, what your strength is.
Yeah.
What did you call the scale or the not test? What is it called?
the Clifton Strengths. Mm-hmm.
That's something I think everybody should do.
Yeah, I think they should. It really helps you. It's not unlike what I do with my numerology. It helps you know. I identify what your core strengths are, who you are, and then you're like, oh, I am. And it's validating, right? Who's not everyone's looking for validation, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We want to be validated in who we are. And that there's nothing wrong with us. We're not broken.
Right.
No one is broken. No one.
That's a nice
Every
thought.
single person on this planet is exactly who they came here to be. So why wouldn't we stand in acceptance of them?
Right, that's a good point.
Right?
You know, in learning when we started our business and finding out what our strengths and weaknesses were, going into situations where you feel like, and even if it's a relationship or work, whatever, where you feel like you have to do it all. Like if you know, it was just her and I doing this, got to do it all, even though I'm not good at this, I'm not good at that. Well, we transition over to Hurrdat now, and we have a team. So looking in and seeing what I'm actually suck at, not good at, or don't like doing, and letting go of that is tough sometimes. Like to know what you're like, this is, my strength is this. But so if I don't do these other things, doesn't mean I'm weak or that I'm an idiot.
Exactly.
I just am better at this.
Yes.
Or I'm not lazy. I'm not anything like that.
Right.
But that's tough to get past, though.
If you put it in a perspective that if I can do the things I shine at, how much quicker will I get to my goals if I can delegate out the things that someone else is strong at? Mm-hmm. Right? It's about shifting. Like, it's not that I'm not good at this. It's just not my strength. But I'm smart enough and I know that I can delegate this out, get it done faster. And here's the thing. When you aren't spending time doing things you don't enjoy, you have more time for joy.
Yeah.
Right.
It's true.
I don't do my own accounting. You know why?
Yeah.
Because
It's awful.
I don't want to. I think about it and it makes me sick inside to think about it because
I know, it's terrible.
It's just, I don't even know
because
what
it's not my area, right?
Yeah.
Like that's not my strength. I don't have all the bits and pieces to make that look good.
There are those
So-
people that will argue I don't know if it's not like they want to be victims, but that I do all my own. I do all this myself. I do it. No, I'm not going to hire somebody to do that. I can do that myself. And it's like, but you don't like doing that. Why are you doing it?
Fear.
And is that what
fear.
that's where it comes from?
For sure.
Fear.
Yeah, I would think.
That the
fear.
person who is,
And it's fear of what the people think of them. Like if you think, oh, I don't like doing accounting. Well, they want other people to
Judgment.
think that they can do it all. They're the jack of all trades.
Yes.
They can do it all because they don't want somebody to judge them.
Yeah.
And who cares?
And judgment's fear.
Yeah.
wow.
Holy cow, it's all connected.
And
All
the
right.
need for approval.
Yes.
Because you want people to approve of you and you don't want them to think you're not smart, right?
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And
That's
you want
a big one.
And you want control. Oh, look, all three are fear.
Oh, wow.
Maybe it was you that posted on Facebook or Rihanna. Somebody had posted, or you, who knows? Somebody in my tornado of crazy posted a GIF that said, what was it? Why do you care if everyone loves you if most of those people don't even love themselves or something like that?
Yeah.
Right.
I completely messed that up, but you know what I'm trying to say.
I do,
And
yeah.
I've seen that a couple of times this past weekend. Other different people posting
when
it.
you try to get approval from somebody who can't give you approval, they're just not in a place where they can
But why?
give it to
Because they don't approve of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
you. Yeah.
When someone's hard on you, that's a reflection of them being hard on themselves, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We're all trying to take the steam off of ourselves, right? We're all the release
Wow.
valve. When people walk around angry and mad and hateful and snappy,
Yeah.
I used to respond to that with bigger.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Because that's like
oh, you think? No, let me show you.
Uh-huh.
You want to get ugly? Let's
Yeah.
get ugly.
Yeah.
Right? But not now. No, because now I know that what I'm responding to is I'm beating up that person that's inside of me. that I don't think deserves kindness, which is me. So she's a reflection of me. Why would I add to her pain?
It's true. Oh my God! And social media is such
why would I take it personal?
That's the thing. That's hard not to.
When somebody responds to you that you don't even know who they are, and they throw some at you, and it's like, okay,
keyboard warriors, like every troll ever born on the internet is full of anger and pain,
and this is the biggest release ever for them. To go after everybody, just the onslaught, and the best thing you can do is either just ignore them, or even better yet, block them. Just because I don't want that in my world. I'm not throwing stuff out there to be mean. I'm not throwing stuff out to be, I guess
it's not up for discussion.
Right.
Like if I share something, take it or leave it, but I'm not really up for discussion on it.
It's just my timeline.
Like if you do say something and you go, well, I disagree, blah, 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 I'll be like, cool.
Yep.
You don't have to agree with me. Like, I'm not the authority on everything. It's cool. And look how many people have look at where we are right now. Everybody has their own camp. Everybody. And there's camps within the camps. Like, which is where things implode, because not everybody is 100% in alignment with everybody on the left or the right or the or whatever. Right? We're not.
No.
And so even within the ranks of those parties or those groups of people they're not even agreeing there.
And it's sad because everybody is almost made to feel like you have to choose, and you don't.
You don't.
It's like you have to choose. You have to choose. You got to choose, and it's like.
But again, what is that? That's giving away your power.
Yep.
Right. People have to know where their power is, and not take on other people's projections. So it's always projection. It's never personal. When somebody is triggered by something you say, that's their shit.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's and just
if you are triggered, it's yours.
It's your shit. It's your shit. Like you go in someone else's timeline and decide to challenge what they post. Well, then you just stepped in it.
Yeah.
But if you're posting on your own,
you showed yourself. You showed it. You showed your hand.
Yeah. You don't have to post. Let's talk about 2021 then.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Well, I have a little bit. This is something that I shared the other day on Facebook when I kind of gave my thoughts on 2020 ending and 2021 coming in. So, like, world year. So I'm just going to read it for you guys.
Go right ahead.
So the world year of 5 is about change.
Why is it year 5?
2 plus 0 plus 2 plus 1 is 5.
Got it.
And that's the world's energy. And then if you want to know what your personal year within that world energy is, you add your month and day to that year, to the current year. Okay. 5 is the wild card. It's in the middle of 1 through 9. It's change, it's freedom seeking, it's adventure, it's opportunities, it's surprises, it's 180s, it's the rebel, it's revolution, it's
kind of what it seems to me that's what 2020 was about.
2020 was about showing us where things were not working. 2020 is about security or insecurity. It showed us what wasn't working anymore.
Got it. Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So this year is the year where we have an opportunity to change what we found. So where the corruption and in our foundations and our instability, the insecurity and security, they ruled our minds and lives that year. 2021 is the energy of the detective energy, where we discover and uncover all kinds of things as these rocks from the rubble of 2020. We uncover those rocks and we find what's under there, what doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And look at what's happened. Our school system, it shows us where our schools are broke. It shows us where capitalism is broke, right? Where corporations are broke. How can these billion-dollar companies not go 1 month without being almost bankrupt?
It blows my mind.
Because what is
blows my mind.
What do they tell every single American to do? You need to have 6 months of survival.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We talked about this when I think when one of the first ones, and I can't remember which corporation it was or what industry it was.
The airlines.
It might have, yes, that was one of them for sure.
The car industry.
But when they were saying that, oh my God, in a month we're going to be bankrupt. I'm like,
the banks themselves.
Wait, what?
How's that possible?
How is that possible that you're going to be bankrupt?
We're 1 month. 1 month. No. And they said, oh, we're going under.
Yeah. Doesn't make sense.
Absolutely nutty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Isn't that fascinating?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It is.
So you look at that and you go, oh, well, what's happening is when they make a profit, they pocket it. They don't reinvest any of it. And they wanted all of the government to reinvest for them. Mm-hmm. They have all this money in their banks, but they don't want to spend their money.
No. Right, why would you?
They want all of us little people who are paying the taxes to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Bail us out.
Yeah.
No,
Too big to fail.
they've just figured out how to meet their needs. They're taking care of themselves. Right? So when someone asks you to do something, we have to be discerning about it. Right? So we have choices. We have choices.
I've seen that word a lot in posts, discerning. Use a little discernment. And it's people posting things that are a little wild. And you're like, and they post it with that warning. Use some discernment.
Right.
And it's just to remind people, just wait. Think for yourself.
Right. Come from a place of love. Come from a place of self-love, right?
Don't just jump on this bandwagon.
Right.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
2021. So we really need to be mindful of where our hearts are. Recognize those that are playing parts of spreading fear to keep yourself, it keeps you ungrounded and fearful. When you buy into those narratives, what do you want? That's where your energy should go. Focusing on what you want to bring in. Not on what you don't want, what you don't want is what's loud, right? Everything that's loud is a distraction and it keeps you off your game. It keeps you ungrounded and afraid. But if you already know what you want and it's the opposite of what that is, why wouldn't we put our energy into that?
Stop for just a second, because a conversation we had with Rihanna, and she was talking about New Year's resolutions, not asking for specific things, but asking for the way those things make you feel.
Yep, 100%. That's how you
exactly
manifest.
The same thing, and not asking, not saying I don't want this, because that puts it out there.
Yep.
Anything you put out there,
the universe doesn't differentiate
from want and don't want.
The universe feels energy.
It's just you're thinking about this,
right?
So you get more of that, whatever it is. But it is. I like the idea of what you want to feel.
Yeah. Well, it's what you think is what you want, right? But how it makes you feel amplifies it, right? So if you're thinking, oh, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this, and it's full of worry and anxiety, what are you asking for is what you're not wanting, right? Energetically. So if you say, you know what, I'd really like more unity, more peace. I'd like people to start seeing each other's perspectives without judging.
Yeah.
How would that make you feel?
That'd be awesome.
Pretty awesome.
Peaceful, right? It'd make you feel peaceful.
Yeah.
But the biggest part of this is your world is a reflection of your inner world. If you want that peace, you become that peace inside first. The focus should always be, it's always an inside job. I almost named my new office The Inside Job. I almost did.
That was funny.
I almost did,
like
but
it.
I was like, oh, maybe not.
It's the same concept as being on an airplane and the oxygen bags deploy. You have to put yours on first before you put one on your child. You got to take care of yourself, otherwise you can't help anybody.
Right, and that's how all the givers in the world and all the helpers deplete themselves. Because they're like, oh no, and they're trying to help everybody.
They want everybody around them to think they donate more, they give more time to charities. And on the inside and at home, it's probably a disaster.
But what's underneath it?
Right.
Like that's what I do. I go underneath it. What's underneath their giving, and their refusal to receive.
Yes.
Right. Because the people who do that don't let you give back to them.
No, that's true.
And they're exhausted.
Yeah.
They're afraid.
And they need it's fear.
And they don't have control of the stuff that's inside of them. So they're trying to help and control the things outside.
Wow, that's crazy. And then it's so evident on Facebook. When you see people post stuff on Facebook where it's like, I need a recommendation where I can donate 40,000 of my clothes. It's like, well, dude, come on.
You can just go do it. Yeah.
Just Google. But you want everybody to know that you have all this stuff to donate. You can see through it like it's just a piece of glass.
Yeah.
So transparent.
Yeah. And it is. And now when I think of it, like you said, when you narrow it down just to those three things, everything fits in one of those pockets.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God.
Right. But what's in the other pocket of fear, right? Love's on the other side, right? Yeah. So patience, acceptance, understanding, compassion. And when you have that if you have it for yourself, it automatically transfers to the people outside of you. That's why it's an inside job.
It is.
If you're angry and you're scared and you're wounded, what part of you needs you to give that energy to yourself? What will help you heal? What will help you feel safe?
That's a good question.
It's not joining other people who can validate that, that's scary.
Right.
It's not that scary stuff doesn't happen. It's not that dark stuff's not going on. It's how much energy are you going to give it to amplify it, right?
Almost makes it worse.
Do you want to amplify that? What can you do where you are right now, right? So we talked about depression in the past and anxieties in the future. What can you do right now in this moment to position yourself to feel and go where you want to go? In this moment, it might be something like breathe. You see what I'm saying?
Disconnect from social media. Stop watching the news. It's something like
yourself.
that. Yeah.
Ground yourself. Take a salt bath. Breathe. Just take yourself out of the chaos. I call it going up into the balcony. When you're on the stage of life and it's going down and everybody's chaos and you can't get grounded, you go to the balcony and you look at it from a higher place and you recognize where everybody's hearts are, and then you decide where you want to put your energy.
No, that's
a great way to look at it.
Isn't it? I mean, that just to step away for a second, it just gives you an opportunity.
Or the whole time. I mean, you don't have to participate.
You don't have to get back in.
Because what are we doing when we add to this anger that's going on? Anger is a secondary emotion. Know what's underneath it?
Fear.
Fear is underneath anger. Anger is trying to protect our vulnerable bits, right?
Yeah.
Anger pushes people away so that they can't hurt your vulnerable bits.
Yeah.
I love all this.
I know.
I'm trying to find, there's a saying that I found, and I was like, oh my God, it just, it's expectation is
a direct path to disappointment.
Or disappointment.
Dana Camp.
Expectation is, and it's something like that. It's something like that. It's
Right.
like, it's not the word disappointment, but it's close as like expectation is something like disappointment in the making. That you're setting yourself up when you only see this as the goal. You see X is, that's my expectation. That's what's going to happen.
It's something that's outside of you 99% of the time.
That you can't control.
Right. My expectation on somebody or something outside of me is going to break my heart eventually.
Even though past performance has proven that that's typically what happens, you can't 100% roll the dice on it.
Humans are, and again, this is very human and there's nothing wrong with it. And if you could just accept that every single person on this planet is trying to get their needs met, you know exactly why everybody's doing what they're doing. You don't need the details.
Instant perspective.
Yeah. You see someone behaving in a way that's fearful or dangerous or damaging or
loud,
counterproductive or distracting, and you go, why is that person doing that?
Yeah.
Because they're trying to get their needs met. They might be trying to do it through fear.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. They're trying to get their needs met. I need to feel validated. I need to feel like I'm not alone. I need other people to bounce this back at me so I can put more energy and believe in this, right? That's what all this is. But what if we just focused on the loving part of things? What if we accepted ourselves? What if we all just went inward and said, you know what? There's nothing wrong with me. I'm not broken. Whatever I'm doing because I'm trying to get a need met. What needs am I trying to get met? And how can I do that in a healthier way?
Yeah.
Personal responsibility.
That's
That's a big one. That's a whole different episode right there.
Right.
Dana, thank you so much for coming on today.
Absolutely.
Is there anything you wanted to say in closing or anything you wanted to?
I want people to trust their gut. Pay attention to where your heart is and then make decisions from knowing where your heart is, right? Does it feel good? Why are you doing it then? Ask yourself, is what I'm doing bringing me closer to or farther away from more joy in my life? Is this bringing me closer to, because your goals are always trying to get you to your joy, right? You don't even need joy in there. Your goal is always to have more joy, right? So is what I'm doing and thinking and choosing bringing me closer to or farther away from that?
How do people find you?
They can reach out to me directly.
InsideJob.com.
No.
If only, that would be awesome. Brilliant.
I just opened a new office, and I'm still getting the sign. I got to get the signage. I'm just literally first of the year rolled over.
That too,
yeah,
though.
thanks. So they can reach me on Facebook at Dana U Camp Intuitive Numerologist, or they can reach out to me directly at 402-960-0624, or they can reach out to me at Dana DANAUCAMP at gmail.com, and they can schedule in a session or I do a lot of different things, but it's all energy based, all frequency based. So they can reach out and we can talk about what might be best for them.
We need to get you scheduled.
I was just going to say, you can find her hopefully more on the Pat and JT podcast throughout
That would be great.
the next year. More than last year, that's for sure.
Yes.
I'd love it.
Thank you so much, Deanna. Appreciate it. Find us at It's Pat and JT on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook.
Pat and JT Podcast, a Hurrdat Media Production.